Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's a tough night. It was actually hard and tough for me to get on the stream tonight, man, because I watched my New York Giants crap the bed. They played horrible. They played terrible. But we're going to do it anyway, man. Let's rock. Knicks family, what's poppin', man? What's poppin'? What's good? Repping New York Giants anyway. I don't care if we lost. You know what I'm saying? But it was a terrible, terrible game. It was a horrible game. You know what I mean? It was a horrible game. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. It looked a lot like last year, right? A whole lot like last year. The O-line, what we give up? 6 sacks. 6 sacks tonight. Eli under pressure all night. And what did it result in? Saquon Barkley, 11 rushes for 28 yards. Whatever it was. Right? So much pressure, Eli had to dump the ball off over to the flat to Barkley. So, who was our leading receiver? Saquon Barkley, 14 catches for what it was, 86 yards or something like that. 80 yards. Because Eli was under pressure, he had to dump the ball off. And I seen some people in the chat, you know, they say, oh, Eli again is, you know, he's done, blah, 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 blah. We should have took Sam Darnold. I'm going to tell you this. We could have took Sam Darnold all you want. The same exact thing would have happened tonight if Sam Darnold was in the game. The one thing that I will say, though, I will say this. It hurts. It's been hurting the Giants for years. For years that Eli can't move his feet. It's been hurting the Giants, man. It's been hurting the Giants for years that Eli can't move his feet. You know, because today, when you look at the way, I mean, most offensive lines in the leagues are average. The Cowboys have a good offensive line. Right, there's other teams that have good offensive lines, but most offensive lines in the team in the league are average. And so you've got to have a quarterback that can move his feet, and that is one thing that Eli cannot do, and that definitely hurts the Giants. I was about to say the Knicks. That definitely hurts the Giants, man. Eli can't move his feet. You know what I mean? He can't move his feet, so that hurts. But beyond that, I think the Giants got out-coached tonight, man. For real. We got out-coached. On the offensive and defensive side of the ball. You know, they were running schemes that the offensive line just wasn't prepared for. They just weren't ready for because there's such a new team. That's not an excuse either. They're just, you know, they're new. They wasn't ready for it. So the Cowboys did what they're supposed to do. But even on the offensive side of the ball, as a matter of fact, we did a pregame show on NBNY. It was me, the entertainer. We had a few other YouTubers in, Giants YouTubers in. And one of the things that we talked about, see that? I'm so upset. I can't even think about it. You know, one of the things we talked about with Payback Carter is in the chat, is how the Cowboys don't really... They expect Dak to be a pocket quarterback. Well, guess what? In the first half tonight, they didn't expect Dak to be a pocket quarterback. They used his ability to run to trick the Giants defense, and it worked on a few occasions. I don't know the exact stats. I could probably look up the exact stats, but Dak Prescott had some yards. You know, and I'm sure you guys can look up the exact stats and see what it is. Well, so, you know, what are you going to do? Same thing year after year, man. With the Giants and this O-line. I mean, we got to get it right. We got to get it right. And, you know, I'm not saying that Eli is perfect. Like I just said, Eli's not mobile at all. So that definitely doesn't hurt us, doesn't help us. And maybe someone like Sam Darnold would have been able to help us because he can move his feet a little bit better, just because he's younger, right? Can move his feet a little bit better. But bottom line, if your O-line is not going to block, they are going to be under pressure, and it's going to be a problem. You know what I mean? It's going to be a problem, and you know, we got to do something. We got to figure out something, man. We got to figure out something. It was disappointing night as it pertains to the New York Giants. Very disappointing night because I did expect the New York Giants to get a win. As a matter of fact, I predicted, and this was after, after, I don't know what you want to call it. I thought the game was going to be tight, and then I said, you know what? I think the Giants might make it a little bit, might do something a little bit more than keep it tight. And I thought maybe they'd win 24-10. Well, I was wrong. And everything that I thought the Giants were going to be able to do, they cannot, at least in this game. And the schedule doesn't get easier for the Giants. They got a tough schedule coming up. Really, really tough schedule coming up. You know, and I mean, we're looking at a team that, I don't know, man. It could be a rough one. It could really be a rough one for the Giants if we don't get some things together, man. And you know, I don't even want to talk about it, you know. Cowboys are very good. GC, yes, you say Cowboys are very good defensively. They are a good defensive team. They're definitely a good defensive team. And I mean, we talked before the game in our little pregame show on NBNY that the Cowboys were kind of searching to find out who they are. Well, you know what? It seemed like they knew who they were tonight. You know what I mean? It seems like they knew who they were tonight. So, well, you know, it is what it is. You know, it's cool. And, you know, we'll be back next week. We got Houston next week. You know, we'll talk about that next week. So, Jets fans, Cowboys fans, you know what I mean? Don't get on my wrong side tonight, man. For real. Just saying. All right, we already got some people in the video chat. We got the Prince in the video chat. We got Isaiah. We got Ant in the video chat. You know what I mean? So we got some people in the video chat already. Yeah, Melra, man. The cricket is back, man. I don't know what, you know, it's hiding. It's somewhere. Or another cricket. So it's going to be here for the whole show. You want a little bit of airtime. You know what I mean? I don't know what to do. You know the way crickets are. Hey, you start chasing it around and you're never going to find it. You know what I mean? Look, Marty Knicks up in here. Jets. Get out of here. Don't make me kick you out the chat. Don't make me kick you out the chat. I mean, but we got some people in the video chat. All right. We got some people in the video chat. Like I said, Aunt G, Isaiah, the Prince. And, you know, we're going to talk New York Knicks. We're going to talk New York Knicks. Right now, they're having a conversation on their own. I'm pretty sure they're talking about the Giants game or something like that. But what I do want to talk about tonight, I want to talk about my buddy Steve Mills, man. I want to talk about Steve Mills because, you know, the last stream, I was a little bit concerned about the dude that was on that podcast who, you know, was talking about some things that he heard from within the New York Knicks organization. And so I think Steve Mills wanted to cut all those rumors off and knock it out. And I think he did just that. You know what I mean? Steve Mills, in an article today that was in, but I think it's the Daily News or whatever it was, has some quotes that were really, really encouraging to me, right? And actually, it's in Newsday. Some quotes that are really, really encouraging for me. And you guys, you know, go check out the article if you haven't checked it out already. It's in Newsday. Steve Mills, patience is the key in the Knicks transition. The exact words that I want to hear. The exact words that I want to hear. But he goes a step further than that. Allah Wise, what's up, my brother? You know what I'm saying? Everybody that's in the chat, big shout out to you guys, man. Getting on 11:30 at night. Some of you guys depressed because of the New York Giants going belly up tonight. You know what I mean? But, you know, big shout out to everybody in the chat for jumping on with me tonight. And we're going to have a good show anyway. You know what I mean? But Steve Mills, patience is the key. That's what he says. Patience is the key. And he has some quotes that were really, really encouraging that I like to hear. Quotes that I like to hear. I'm going to bring these quotes up in just a second. Okay? The first quote that really encourages me, that I was glad to hear from Steve Mills, or see, is this. He said, and this is talking about quick fixes, right? And just before this little quote here, he talks about how he has seen the Knicks take quick fixes in the past, and they haven't worked. Then he says, when you are where we are, to all of a sudden pivot and go in a different direction, I've just seen it go wrong too many times. I am not going to be part of doing it that way. That encourages me. I am so happy to hear that. Very happy to hear that. But that's not the only thing. That's not the only thing. He goes on to say, we expect our team to play hard every night, compete every night, and win as many games as we can win, and play in a way that gets Knicks fans excited about what we're doing and the guys that we have on the team. That's exactly what I want to hear. Exactly. I want the Knicks to play the guys that's on the team, play the young guys. Play the young guys, right? But try to win with those guys. That's exactly what I want to see and exactly what I want to hear. He also spoke about Frank Ntilikina, and that Frank Ntilikina has grown his confidence, and they see some things in Frank that, they just don't want to give up on. You know what I mean? So if anything, no matter what is going on inside that locker, the executive offices, if anything, he is saying the exact right things to build the confidence of his players and to let the players know that we want you and we want you to stay with this squad here. And we trust you, and we're going to ride and rock with you. And we are going to work on helping you to develop your skills. You know what I'm saying? And I like that. And yeah, childhood time machine. Yes, you said, to be real, Steve Mills has been on message since he became the president of basketball operations. Yes, he has. He has been on message, and he has said it time and time again. I think he's done things the right way. I was impressed when he became the president of basketball operations, and he came out with his blog post. And in that blog post, he talked about his vision for the New York Knicks. I was very impressed with that he did it that way. You know what I mean? And from there, I started to believe. I was still very skeptical, but I started to believe that Steve Mills might be the right guy for the job. And so far, he has proven that he's the right guy for the job. You know what I mean? And I do have some calls coming in. So, I'm going to reverse it for a little bit. Usually I get to the video chat, but it looks like they're having a nice conversation. So before I get to the video chat, I'm going to go ahead and answer one of these calls and see what these guys are talking about, and let them guys in the video chat go ahead and have their conversation. All right, caller, you are on live with Nothing But Knicks. What's popping?
Yo, what's good, Tim?
I'm chilling, man. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. First time calling. I feel amazing. I got through the line, bro.
I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you calling in. Appreciate you staying up late and rocking with us tonight.
Bro, I always watch your stream. I always catch it the next day and stuff. I was happy to get on YouTube and actually seeing that you was actually live and actually got through. Congratulations on your show, by the way, bro. Thank
you, man. I appreciate it. We got on a little bit late tonight because we watched the Giants stink it up in Dallas. You know, I wanted everybody to get a chance to watch the Giants games. Those Giants fans, we got a lot of Giants fans on the channel, as you probably know. You know, so I wanted to give them a chance to watch the game and everything. But you know, so we started late, but it's cool.
Like I said, man, congratulations on your show, man. Amazing, big things, you know. I was here with my girl. We were just chatting it up. I was like, yo, let me try calling you for the first time. It went through, and I'm happy. Knicks fan forever, you know. Been a Knicks fan always. My girl is like somewhat a Knicks fan as well. And well, what are you talking about right now? You still talking about Mills or?
Yeah, so right now we're still talking about Mills. We were just talking about just some of the quotes that we read from Steve Mills.
You know, I agree with him, bro. We just got to try to win as much games as possible. I'm not winning with a tanking and just win as much games as possible. Try to develop. I think Kyrie Irving next year is more or less a guarantee. And I don't know. That's just the only thing I gotta say. It's like I'm happy with the progress of the Knicks right now.
Yeah, I'm happy with it too.
To be a lifelong Knicks fan. Always been a Knicks fan. And yeah, bro.
Yeah, I'm very happy with it. You know, and there are a lot of people. There are a lot of people that look at the team and say, well, if you're going to play only the young players, that's equivalent to tanking. And I disagree with them. I think that tanking and playing your young players for development are two different things. Two very different things, in my opinion. But, you know, to each his own. It's cool. I'm not trying to get into that argument tonight because I know there's a lot of people that'll have that argument, you know. But, yeah, I like the directions that the Knicks are going in. I love it.
I love that direction. I love that quote. I love what he said, you know. And it's a very great direction for the Knicks. The Knicks, we're gonna grow. And next year, you're gonna see it. We're gonna see everybody want to come to the Knicks.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. And you know, there's one of the things that Steve Mills did say in the article, or not in the article, but it was a quote. I mean, he was on the phone. It was a phone call. He did a phone call, and you know, one of the things he did say is, you know, we want to focus. We want to show the guys that we have. Want to show the guys that we have that we are changing the organization. We have a good organization, you know, and that they trust us, and we trust them, and we're going to help them develop. We're going to help them reach their goals, and they're going to be part of something special. And at the same time, while doing that, their focus first and foremost is on the guys we have, and then while doing that, outside players will see, you know, what the Knicks are building. And I have nothing wrong. I see nothing wrong with that at all, as long as your focus is on the players that we have, and then outside guys see it and say, wow, you know, they're doing something over there. I like that. That's exactly how it's supposed to be. You know, not that you're playing to impress another player. You know, you're playing, you're developing, you're building to build an organization, and then that will attract other players. So that's what I like to hear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but hey, man, I know there's gonna be some people calling in because the line was blowing up. So I appreciate you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and,
like I said, I'm a first-time caller. I plan on calling you a couple more times. I actually I'm in Miami right now, and I want to start a little show myself out here. And would love your support too, and some advice from you. So I'm gonna keep calling you.
Do that, man. And you know, I usually, you know, my email is you know, public information. You can always send me an email. You know, you start you a show, I'll definitely support it without a doubt.
I appreciate that, my brother.
All right, man.
But yeah, congrats on the show, bro. Thanks for having me call in and accepting my call.
No doubt, man. Have a good one. Man. All right, peace.
Thank you, bro.
All right. And so so I also want to add to that, because, you know, clearly there was some Jimmy Butler stuff out there, right? Some Jimmy Butler stuff out there today. Not really about the Knicks, but just about Jimmy Butler and the Minnesota Timberwolves having discussions about his future. And so instantly Bleacher Report puts out something about a trade with the New York Knicks and several other teams. You know what I mean? You know, in that trade included Frank Ntilikina, I think Courtney Lee in the 2019 or 2020 first round draft pick. And you know, I'm just not ready for it, man. I'm not ready for it. I'm not ready for it. I just want to focus on who we have. And I know it's the media. I know it's the media that's out there talking about all of this, and it's not the team, which is the reason why I wanted to bring up these quotes that Steve Mills made, because, you know, that makes me happy and that encourages me. You know what I mean? Because the more, you know, every time you hear stuff out there and people saying this and players saying that, you know that there's back channels in the NBA, and some of these people can't keep their mouth closed. You know what I mean? So then, of course, naturally, people are going to wonder, well, is there back channel stuff going on where the Knicks are talking this, that, and the other thing? I just want the Knicks to focus on who we have when the trade, you know, at least coming into the season, right? Let's focus on who we have and what we're doing. Coming into the season, I know it's Scott Perry and Steve Mills' job to look at how to make the team better. But I need them and want them and hope that they are going to do it within the philosophy that they set forth. They have a philosophy on how they're going to grow and build. They have a strategy, they have a plan, and I hope that they're going to stick with it, and it sounds like they will. I mean, it sounds like they will. I'm going to take one more call. Tony Crow, what's popping, my brother? I'm going to take one more call, then I'm going to get to the video chat. You're on live with Nothing But Knicks. What's popping, my brother?
What's up? This is Rob. What's up? How you doing?
I'm chilling, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. My Giants lost, so I'm a little tight.
Yeah, everybody is, man. Giants, you know, listen, the Giants, I mean, in recent years, the Giants they've been known to do that to you, right? Known to make you feel mad, upset, you know, make you want to bust something open in your house, man, because the way, you know, just little things they be doing on the field, man. Hopefully, listen, they're 0-2. I'm not one to believe that the playoffs is totally done for them, but, you know, I'm optimistic. But they got a tough schedule ahead of themselves. We'll see if they're man enough, they're strong enough to step up to the plate. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But if they want to have a chance, they got to win the next two.
I mean, I'm 25 years old, so I got a little different story. I mean, I'm not used to the Giants doing this. This is new. I got 2 Super Bowls under my belt. I did the 2 Super Bowl parades. So I don't know. Something happened in the front office. But
after that last Super Bowl, they didn't fell off, man.
They done fell off. Jerry Reese took over them bad drafts. If you don't draft well, same thing as the NBA. If you don't draft, you don't have no depth.
Yeah,
it's a 53-man roster, not a 12-man roster. So you need bodies coming off the bench, and they don't even have starters to begin with that. So this is going to be a long. I don't think the Giants going to be good for a little minute, man. It's unfortunate, but we got.
We'll see what's up, man. But hey, you know what we've seen in the NFL? The NFL is one of those type of leagues where a team can go from worst to first real quick. So
that is a fact.
Yeah, you know. So tell me, man. What's your take on the Knicks right now?
Oh man, the Knicks. You talking about Steve Mills, and he's preaching that patience, right?
Yeah,
I agree with that. Of course, we need patience. Me personally, listening to the show, you saying like you hope the Knicks win 30 games, 35 games. I hope the Knicks win 5 games. I'm one of those type of people. I understand. I'm thinking bigger picture. Understand, like, I hope we win as little as games as possible. We could play hard and win 20 games. That'd give us a top 5 pick. If we get another top 5 pick, we won't, and we develop the talent that we got, we won't need to look to free agency. You understand what I'm saying? So,
well, Kyrie, see, that's not see my thing there. I don't agree with that, though. I don't agree, because you're always going to need to look to free agency for something. The reason why free agency is so important, and I'm not saying the draft isn't, they're both equally important in my view, because when you're talking about free agency, you're talking about players that are proven. When you're talking about the draft, you're talking about players that are not proven. So even though you draft someone, I mean, how many players in the NBA right now, you know, that came out that were in the draft, and they were, you know, everybody and their mother was like, oh, this is a bona fide star, and then that person got in the league and they didn't become a bona fide star. Maybe they were a good role player or whatever, but they didn't become a star. I think you had to be careful. You got to understand how to do both of them at the same time. I think, you know, you got to know how to.
These drafts,
free agents,
have you seen these last 3 drafts? These drafts are loaded. They're not the same no more. These guys coming out of high school,
But that's the issue.
They are different, and they are able to step into the league and have an immediate impact. I think that this draft class coming up, and even the next one, these are the drafts you want to be in, because you got to be able to, at this time, you have to be able to look at the college, what's going on in college, and say, all right, what's projected? Who's going to be coming out? Some drafts, at this time, next year, like it's only going to be 2-3 players. We know it's about 5, 6 players in this draft again, just like it was last year. They got about 5, 6 players in
maybe
the
2018
draft.
All we can say is maybe.
Draft, man, and you get one of them. You got Kevin Knox, you got him, you got KP and Franklin Lakina. That's something to build on. If you rebuild it, it's going to take time. And then if Kyrie does want to come here, he is from New York, perfect. But he does get injured a lot.
Okay, I mean, to me, it's still because you still got your Greg Odens and your Jahlil. I mean, Jahlil Okafor was 2015. He was supposed to be one of the best centers to ever come out of college. His footwork was amazing.
I told my brother, don't choose that guy. Don't play defense. You got to be able to.
It's a tough call. I think you got to be able to play both sides of the ball, because you're gonna need free agents no matter what. I don't care. Because even if you don't get your stars from free agency, you need free agency to fill in the gaps. You know what I mean? To find those role players and all those type of things.
You do, look, all right, everybody, of course you're going to say the Warriors, but besides the KD, before they got KD, their only free agent person was Iguodala, and nobody even said nothing about that. So you can find guys, especially when they say you developing talent, you can find guys that's gonna want to come and play with you. Especially if you got KP and Kevin Knox turn into another superstar. You might not even need. I'm telling you what. Kevin Knox, rookie of the year.
All right, let me ask you this: Who was? Name the players before KD went to the Warriors, and then I'm gonna let you go after this because I know people want to call in. Before KD went to the Warriors, name the players that were drafted to the Warriors.
Before KD went to the Warriors?
Before KD went to the Warriors, name the players that were drafted.
So you had the young guy Patrick McCaw got drafted there, and they developed him. He was in the summer league, and he was doing him. And I don't know if he's still there. They drafted Kevin Looney. These guys, I think they still have. These are role players, and they're developing them. And you still got Steph Clay and Draymond.
I'm not sure if Kevin Looney is still there.
They drafted Patrick McCaw and Kevin Looney. They drafted those dudes.
So you got Steph, you got Draymond, Patrick McCaw, Kevin Looney, and you got
their whole roster. They basically drafted, except for Sean Livingston, Iguodala, and then a couple of old bums. But most of those dudes, they drafted.
They drafted guys. I'm gonna say 50% of their roster was drafted. 50% of their roster was free agents, and of the guys that played, I'm going to say 50% were guys who were free agents. Now, it may not be the stars, of course, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, those guys were, developed up. And that's why I think, you gotta, so there's stars besides KD, but they were, they were a championship contender before KD, right? So they had their stars, and then they filled in them gaps with role players like Sean Livingston, Iguodala, David West. You know what I'm saying? They filled in them gaps with some of the role players. So I think you got to have both.
Yeah, it's a balance. Of course, I don't want the Knicks to lose every game, but listen, 30 games, we ain't going to remember that. We lost 30 games before.
Well, that's true. That's true. But the one thing that if you could put yourself in a position, I'm not as worried about the draft pick. I just want to, wherever we fall, I'll be happy with it, right? But I like the team that put themselves in a position where they got to play meaningful games. There's a big difference, in my opinion, between playing meaningful games and playing games just to play games. There's a really big difference, because when you get to the point where you're playing games just to play games, it's almost like just playing pickup ball, and guys not really paying attention. The intensity isn't there. Just the whole
start to build the bad culture.
Yeah, just that whole focus is not there. That's the reason why I don't mind. Listen, if the Knicks only win 5 games, well, I'll be pissed off about that. They only win 5 games because I want to see some good basketball. But if the Knicks won like 21, 22 games, I wouldn't be upset. I'd be like, okay, this as long as they were playing hard and really, really trying to win.
That's what I mean. 20, 21, 22. I was exaggerating, but 21, not 35. I don't want to see us win 35. I'm sorry. I really don't. I don't want to see us win 35. We'll be like 11, 12. I'm good. I don't want to see us win 35 games. 20 to 25 will be perfect. We have a young team. They're babies. They're babies.
We'll see what's up.
They're supposed to win 20 to 25 games.
I mean, maybe, or maybe they could surprise people. You never know what could happen in the NBA.
You never know. They could surprise me, but I'm hoping they just play hard. That's it. If you play hard, you're gonna put yourself in position to win games. But if you just play hard, that's all I want.
I agree with you there. That's the main thing. Play hard, and compete, and live with the results. Yeah. Hey,
knock
man.
people around. Do something.
Yeah, I appreciate the call, bro. All right.
No problem.
I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna get to this video chat, see what they talking about in the video chat. All right.
All right, boy.
Appreciate it, man. Peace.
No problem.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I think a lot of Knicks fans. Listen, free agency is to me is just as important as the draft, man. It's just as important as the draft. Most of the players, most of the players that come out of the draft end up switching teams. Most of your players end up switching teams. You know? Yeah, I mean, if you look back, that draft that had LeBron, Dwayne Wade, Carmelo, and all them, how many of those players are on the same team? Think about that. How many of them guys are really on the same team? You know, and those are some of your, had some of your best players ever still switch teams. Right? Even Dwayne Wade, back with Miami for his last season, said it's going to be his last season this year, but where'd he go? Went to Chicago, went to Cleveland, now back to Miami. Spent most of his years in Miami, though. It's a different culture when it comes to players changing teams nowadays, and we see that. Let's see what's going on with the chat, man. See what's up with the chat. Let me see. We got Isaiah raising his hand already. I didn't even get a chance to bring the chat over. Already got his hand raised.
Because I'm angry, Sam.
Man, what's popping, bro?
What's going on, Sam? Blackest time. Shout out to the chat.
Chilling, man. Let me ask you your opinion. We're kind of talking about the last caller kind of moved us in a direction where we're talking about free agency versus the draft. In my opinion, you've got to do it equally. You got to equal it out. Draft and free agency. If free agency, everyone.
Well, I was gonna go in on the Giants, but I'll answer your question first. So I'll say this: the Golden State Warriors are probably one of the greatest rare exceptions of championship building through the draft. They're probably like one of the handful of teams that can honestly say our championship team was built through the draft. Even though Iguodala was the most important signing in Warriors history, but they were really built through the draft, and it's hard to say because it rarely works for a team to build through the draft and win a championship. Mm-hmm. But they did it. Most championships are really a lot of free agents go to the team.
They're stars. They're stars.
Yeah.
They're stars.
They're stars. Like I think the best examples of they weren't stars, but they were important free agents is probably the 11 Mavericks and the 04 Pistons. Those are probably the best examples of teams that picked up players that really people didn't believe in. Mm-hmm. And they just put them together, but you have to build through the draft to have a foundation of players, because I would disagree with him on this, on the last caller. You can't win 5 games and expect free agents to sign with you. You can't do that. You can't do it because at the end of the day, some these players they don't want to waste their primes playing on mediocre teams. For the most part, most of them don't. So it's like, if you're going to attract free agents, you got to show some type of potential, some type of effort, and some type of skills. Yeah. Because,
but see, the thing is, the Warriors really are the exception I mean, you've got to pay attention to free agency, but that doesn't mean you don't develop your players, because before the Warriors, you know, who won the championships before the Warriors? You had, of course, Miami was filled with teams of free agents, right? There were teams with all free agents. Cleveland was a team of free agents, right? When they won a championship, in 14.
And maybe the Spurs.
Right. So you got Cleveland, you got Miami, you got Golden State.
I'll give it to the Spurs, though. I'll give it to the Spurs, Sim.
Right, you got Golden State, you got the Spurs, but even the Spurs, there was 3 of them. There's Tony Parker, Tim Duncan, and Manu Ginobili.
Do you count Kawhi Leonard as a trade, or basically you drafted him?
I mean, to me, that's it's a draft, though. I mean, that's someone who came in right at the beginning of the year and was with your team. You know what I mean? To me, that's.
I'm sorry, Sim, but how bad do you think the Pistons are hating themselves for that?
Tell me about it.
They could have had Paul George and Kawhi. Oh my God, that's just nasty.
But
that's nasty.
But I mean, but even with San Antonio, they were still filled with teams of free agents that came in, or people that they developed. I mean, you can't say that they didn't have people they developed. They definitely had people that they developed to play in this.
I think the last time before the Warriors was probably the 99 Spurs, maybe. And I'm not really sure because I was like only 6 or 7 or 5. But maybe the 99 Spurs.
I'm trying to think who was on the team. Dave Robinson, Tim Duncan. I don't remember who else was on the squad.
Avery Johnson.
But teams, it has to be a mix. It really does. It has to be a mix. Look, Ray Valencia says OKC drafted pretty well. They didn't draft pretty well. They drafted damn well, right?
Ooh, God dang, 3. Yo, Sim, I'm telling you right now, they're going to have a 30 for 30 on Sam Presti, and now he had 3 MVPs and lost them all.
Right.
He's going to have a 30 for 30.
Yeah, I mean, geez, look who they drafted. And
I don't think, hey, Sim, has that ever happened before? Do you draft 3 MVPs? I don't think that ever happened before. I don't know if that ever happened before, but yeah. Let me see. Let me open up. Ant. I got 3 of us in here. Might as well open it up with him. Who is that in the background?
I don't know. Somebody got that's the Prince got something playing in the background. So Ant, what's your take on it, man? What's your take on it?
I think your franchise player should be drafted, if that makes sense. Like I got you. Like I think like the free agent should be brought in to complement your franchise player. But I feel like your franchise player should be homegrown. I think that's the recipe.
I agree with you right there. I agree with you because there's just something about having a guy that you drafted and help that guy grow up to become a star, and then you build around that player because one, your fans, your organization has an attachment to that player, and that player has an attachment to the organization in the city because that's who, that's who they came up with. So yeah, I agree with that right there.
And it's not too many times you're gonna get an opportunity to sign a franchise player. The LeBrons and the Kevin Durants, they don't come around that often on free agency.
Right.
And when they do come around, they almost have their mind made up already where they're going.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Your friend, you can find all stars in free agency, but you're not going to find a franchise player the majority of the time.
Right.
So I think that's what has to be homegrown.
You're probably right. Majority of the time, it happens every once in a while. KD moved from, OKC to Golden State. He's a franchise type player, but is he the franchise that you're going to build around for 15 years in Golden State? No, because he's probably going to move. Right.
Right. That's a fact.
LeBron, of course, left and went to, Miami, and now he's in LA. And then now you look at franchises franchise LeBron going to LA, he's not really the franchise player because he's not going to be there for 15 more years.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, he's like a mercenary.
Yeah, I get that though. I agree with that. You know what I'm saying? I agree with that. And I mean, I enjoy getting a bunch of young guys and then building a team up. I think that's, that's.
I think I think that's a mistake the Knicks made. They tried to sign their franchise player when they signed Melo and Amari. I think that's the mistake they made.
Right.
You know?
They tried to do what Miami was doing.
Right. And Miami really already had their guy. They had Dwayne Wade.
Right.
You know, so
exactly.
Shout out to Dwayne Wade too. Last tour. That last tour. Shout out to Dwayne Wade.
Yeah. I want to shout out to Dwayne Wade, man. That's my favorite.
That's that last tour. Last tour, baby.
He retiring.
Yeah.
After this year.
Let's see who we got coming in here. Oh, we got Ron Cleveland.
Man.
What's up, Ron Cleveland?
That time's been a while, fellas.
Yeah, it's been a minute, man. I'm gonna open up the Prince so you and the Prince got the mic for a minute. We talking about free agency versus the draft. You know, I'm one of those guys that believe it needs to be a 50-50 deal. You know, you get people in the draft, and then you use free agency to fill in pieces around if you get a franchise player. You know what I mean? Like we got KD, we got Knox right now. Because my thing is this, you know, you can try to go in the draft and get another franchise player if you want to. I think we'd be looking like OKC because it's going to be almost impossible to keep all three of them for 15 years. Seriously. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that 100%, Sam. Man, hey, it's scary when you're able to draft players, man. That means you don't have to really rely on free agents 100%. You know what I mean? Because typically when you get a free agent, you think about how old a free agent is by the time you get them. Mm-hmm. They're pretty much middle of their career, almost out the door. So the best thing to do is to build through the draft.
Yeah. After
the draft, you start adding in players. You don't try to just go that route that we used to go. And I appreciate what Steve Mills had to say about that, man. Exactly. That means the world to me. And it was obvious. He didn't even have to say it. If you know the game of basketball and you know how player movement is and what teams do, you can clearly see that we weren't going that route that we've been the last 10, 15 years of just trying to buy a team.
Yeah. And I think here's the thing when you talk about the NBA draft, and then after this I'm gonna let the Prince go, and then I'm gonna get into some of these goals. Here's the thing I think with the NBA draft. The thing that you get with NBA draft with the draft is value. You get value, right? Because you draft a player, that player comes in, they produce at a level of a veteran that's already in the league, but you're not paying that player veteran money. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. If you get lucky and you get a star and they produce at the level of a star, you're not paying that player star money. You're paying them, cheap money. So, and then that allows you get a player that, and then of course, because there is in the NBA, you're only allowed to pay players a certain amount of money based on their years in the league, right? So it still gives you a chance to build around that player. When you're talking about free agents, you're talking about proven players that have already proved they can play in the NBA, but now you're paying them what their value is, right? And that's the difference. That's one of the big differences between the draft and just free agencies. You get younger players, of course, that you're going to get value from. But here's the thing that I think a lot of GMs think about when you're talking about the business of it. Most players that you draft, by the time they become a player that's going to make a difference for you in the playoffs, they're at the age to be a free agent, and now you got to pay them the same amount of money that you pay any other free agent. So by the time your team is a playoff team, you're still paying that player what you would be paying a free agent. It may not happen like that all because it takes time for the young guys to grow, and it takes time for that young guy to actually be so effective in the NBA that he impacts a team to take that team to the playoffs. Now the difference is, like Ant was saying, you help that kid develop, and that kid is part of your family, your basketball family, as opposed to someone just coming in and, okay, now I'm the man here, So they, and I think that does make a big difference when you draft a kid and they grow up and become a star in your system, in your city, in your organization than when you just bring somebody in, you know, because there's an attachment there. And I think, but I think some GMs just look at it, forget about the attachment part, and only think about the business and say, what's the difference? By the time this guy is able to produce at a playoff level, he's going to be 25 years old, and we're going to have to pay him that money. Well, I can go get a player right now and pay him that money. I think that's the difference. But, I mean, I think that's what some GMs think. Although I don't agree with that philosophy. I believe it's much better to grow your guys up together, because it builds the foundation, it builds chemistry, and you have a culture to bring other people into. So, yeah, you know. But I still think that free agency is a very, very important part to building a good team, because you can also find value in free agency. And then if you need that guy to get you over the top, a lot of times that guy is in free agency and you already know what that person can do. Well, with rookies, guys that's been in the league 3-4 years, you're still not sure. 3 years, let me say 3 years. By the time the 4th year, you should know what that guy can and cannot do. Prince, what do you think, man?
I was just over here really sitting here thinking about it and just, you know, letting it all bounce around in my head. And I really kind of got an epiphany, because it actually scared me, because when you said that, that made me kind of think, because you say that we drafted Frank 2 years ago, we drafted Knox this year, and then, I mean, just speaking into next year, we get another top 10 pick, Reddish or one of those boys. I mean, like you said, all around the time these boys will be turning 21, 22, we got to pay them max money. You know, you talking about your three top players, they're going to be making 150, 160 million a piece. I mean, depending on how the salary cap, you know, and all of that. But being in New York, that's what kind of made me sit back and kind of think like, okay, we not going to be too upset with paying a luxury tax for those players. I don't think we would be upset with paying for Knox, KP, and, you know what I'm saying, Reddish or one of them in the next 5 years. So as long as we pick the right player this next draft, like I said, either if he's going to be a role player or another star that goes with KP and Knox, you know, I think as long as the product is selling and it's winning on the court, I don't think Dolan is going to have a problem paying that luxury tax. So hopefully, if that's the case, we'll be able to keep all of them and pay them where we don't have a problem like OKC, because obviously that was stupid. And I think a lot of people said that they could have kept Harden at that time. So at that
time, I think they could have. It was a matter of like a few $1 million or something like that, $4 million.
Yes. So with that being said, with our organization, knowing that we worth so much money, so paying that little luxury tax to keep a dynasty, you know what I'm saying? We ain't talking about keeping a couple players like Toronto. Like if Frank continues to progress and becomes whoever he becomes, and like I said, Knox becomes Knox, and whatever we draft becomes him, and then KP comes back to form, like I said, I'm pretty sure that team, if we do end up having to pay all those guys max money, I wouldn't be upset with it. I think they're young enough, and I think they'll produce on the court for us for years to come.
Yeah, and you got to remember, max money doesn't mean that, you know, a player that's been in the league 3 years or 5 years and their rookie contract is up. Max money doesn't mean you're getting Chris Paul max money. You know, it's a different type of level. It depends on how long you've been in the league. You know what I mean?
All right.
Yeah. Let me get to some of these goals. Talk about these season goals real quick. All right. Then we can get back there. Well, then we'll discuss that. You know, we're gonna get to the Seatgeek Season Goals. Remember, go to SeatGeek.com. Use the promo code NBK and get $20 off of your first purchase.
Hey, but you know what ain't?
So we are going to get. We're gonna go ahead and get to these SeatGeek Season Goals, and we're gonna start with Allonzo Trier. All right, Allonzo Trier. You can see the man on the screen. I feel like he's an enigma with the New York Knicks right now. At least, well, yeah. That's how I want to say it. I think he's in. A lot of people say that they want him, or that they know, not that they want him, we got him. A lot of people said that they know what Trier can bring, that they know that Trier, and my man Esco says he believes Trier is going to be starting by the end of the season. You know, so there are some people that are excited about Trier, then there are some people that are maybe, you know, shaky a little bit about Trier. I haven't seen enough of them to know yet, but there are some things that I do believe from my limited time watching them play that I want to see from Trier. All right, so number one, my number one goal, I want to see him prove that he can defend. Right, I think he's what, 6'5", 6'6", so he's going to be playing anywhere from the 1 to 2 and maybe even the 3 sometimes. There's a lot of good players in the league at those positions. He's going to have to prove that he can defend. He's going to have to be a defender. And listen, just about every person, every goal that I have brought up here had to do with defending. Right? Because, you know, it's just me. I just believe that if you are going to be an NBA player on this New York Knicks team, you got to defend. You know, so I'm looking at goals. When I'm looking at goals of these players, I'm looking at it as if I was the GM and I was talking to them and saying, I need you, here's what I want you to, these are the goals I want you to strive for. You know, so just about everyone, besides maybe Frank, not even maybe, besides Frank, and even with Frank, you know, the goal is still to continue to get better as a defender. But I want him to prove he can defend. So with everyone, the defense is in there. I want him to prove that he can defend in the NBA. You know, because at his position, there's a lot of ball players there, a lot of hoopers there at his position. All right, learn to play within the offense. And I've only seen him really play a few times, but what I did see from him is that he's one of those guys, and there's a lot of players in the NBA like this, a lot of players that come into the NBA like this, that need to get their rhythm before they make a move. And how do guys get their rhythm? They get their rhythm, dribble, 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 dribble to get their rhythm. What does that do? That takes away from the offense, that takes you out of the offense, right? The ball may be moving, and then now you catch the ball and you like do to try to get your rhythm, and then you end up making the next pass, and you know you ran down the shot clock or you broke the rhythm of the offense. You know, so I like to see him learn to get his shot or his buckets in rhythm, and sometimes the rhythm of the offense may be set up for him to isolate. That's okay. I don't have a problem with that. If you have a player that's good in isolation, I don't have a problem with using that player in isolation. You use it when it's necessary. You know what I mean? And it's not something that every time the ball touches that person's hand, they have to isolate. You know, you have things and you have actions set up to allow that person to isolate. And I think it's important to do that when you have a good isolation player, not just because they can score the ball, but to let that player know that you understand their ability, you respect their ability, and you are going to let that person play the way that they want to play sometimes. Right? But then that player, on the other hand, has to agree to do things within the offense. And when his number is called, his number is called. And he takes advantage of it. You know, but that's one thing I think Trier needs to learn to play within the offense. Right? And so I think he's going to learn these things in the G League, obviously, because he's a two-way player. So in the G League, what do I want to see from Trier? If he's the guy that people say that he is, I want to see him dominate the G League. If he's the guy, people say that Trier is, a very, really good offensively. I just seen someone in the chat say that he's a great offensive threat. Then I want to see him dominate in the G League the way that Trey Burke was dominating in the G League. You know, if he's going to be that guy, that's what I want to see. You know what I mean? I want to see him dominate in the G League. Will it happen? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I want to see him do that. So my 3 goals for Allonzo Trier: prove that he can defend, first in the G League, then in the NBA. Learn to play within the offense, and he's going to hone those skills in the G League. And then I want to see him dominate the G League. You know what I'm saying? Playing the game within the offense. When he gets a chance to isolate, but dominate it. You know, when he was in high school, man, he was one of the, you know, he was like a top 10 player in high school. You know, he was big time coming out of high school. You know, let's see what he can do. Got a phone call coming up. You're on live with Nothing But Knicks. What's poppin', bro?
Yeah, what's happening, Tim? How you doing?
What's going on with you, man? How are you?
Good. Listen, what exactly are you talking about today? I kind of jumped on late, so I just wanted to get my topic.
Right now we are talking. Right now we're talking about Allonzo Trier. My 3 season goals for Allonzo Trier is prove he can defend, learn to play within the offense, and dominate the G League.
Right. All right. So for him, for Allonzo Trier, for me, actually, it's almost my 1, 2, and 3 goal for him is for him to show that he can play as a point guard.
Okay.
To me, that's really where he's going to have a future. That's my number 1 goal. Everything else kind of is dwarfed by that. The second thing would probably be that he shows he can play some defense to some extent, right? But really, to me, for him to really have a future with the Knicks, he has to be able to run the team a little bit, have that ability to be a point guard. The problem is that he's way too short to be a consistent person as a tool. So if he's really going to have a major impact, he has to really be a point, in my opinion, or at least have, be a combo at the very least.
Yeah, I think he would probably. Yeah, I think he would probably be a combo because I don't know. I think to be the point. I don't know if he. I mean, naturally, to me, he's a shooting guard. Naturally,
right. That's what I'm saying. That's my point.
Guard.
That he's too short. In other words, he is a shooting guard and a point guard, but
he's about 6'5".
He's like 6'3", 6'3", something like that.
Nah, he's like Allonzo Trier is like 6'5", 6'6".
Oh, really? So then I'm way off on that then. For some reason, I thought he was really short, like he was about 6'3" or something like that. Okay, so I'm wrong on that. Then in that case, I guess I'm wrong. So I guess maybe just generally speaking, just some improvement then on all around, right? Show that because what he did show in summer league is that he's a little wild, he's a little out of control sometimes.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe one of the things you want to see from him then is to show that he can play more under control, right? That's the first thing. And the second thing is prove that he shows flashes of being a really good offensive player. So I guess the next thing you want to see is that he can be consistent. It's not a fluke. It's not just flashes, but he can be consistently a good offensive player.
Right.
And I guess the third thing would be that he plays some defense. I think that's kind of to me didn't really show that in summer league. So he has to, especially if you don't play for Fizdale, obviously you got to show that he can play some defense. So I think that would be those 3 goals.
Yeah. Right. Cool. But hey, look, I got some other people. Right? Got some other. I got some other people calling in, man.
All right, no problem.
Yeah, got some other people calling, but I appreciate it, and I think what you're saying about Trier is on point. So definitely.
Yeah. All right. Okay, man. Take care.
Later. Yeah, Allonzo Trier, man, and Allonzo Trier maybe could. We'll see. We'll see. We'll get to see him a little bit in preseason. You know what I mean? You're on live with Nothing But Knicks. What's poppin'? Hello.
Hey, Sim, how's it going, man?
Hey, what's going on, man? You're live, bro. What's up?
First time calling in. This is little RJ Unlimited from Twitter.
Oh, okay.
RJ for short.
Yeah, what's going on, man? Appreciate it.
Big fan of the show. Man.
Thank you.
I love what you're doing for the Knicks. Putting the Knicks on the map on YouTube and on other different platforms is awesome, man.
Appreciate that, man.
So we talking about Allonzo Trier, right?
Yep, talk about Allonzo Trier a little bit. What do you think he's going to, we know he's going to start off in the G League. We're going to get a chance to see him in preseason. I set up a few goals for him. One of them, we're looking at the video right now. And listen, the kid got offensive moves. You know what I'm saying? There's no doubts about it. You know, no doubts about it. But you know, he still, I believe, needs to learn how to play within that offensive system. You know what I'm saying?
I definitely agree with you.
You know, he does that. I think, you know, he'll be much more effective.
That he needs to focus on sharing the ball a little bit, because I've seen within the summer league, it was times where there was a lot of guys out on the open that he could have kicked the ball out to, but chose to drive it and, you know, either missed or got fouled. But yeah, I definitely think that he needs to have a better tempo within the game. Yeah,
definitely. Well, we'll see what he does, man. We'll see what he does. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be an exciting season. And I mean, I've never been, I don't want to say never, but this is excited for a preseason that I've been in a long time. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you. Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I'm so excited this season. The prospects that we drafted this, you know, past offseason, and some of the guys that we picked up within the free agency, I'm definitely excited to see what these guys can bring to the table.
Yeah.
And see what kind of, you know, what we can get going with these young guys. Because I'm with you, and, you know, some of the other guys within the chat. Let's run with these young guys, man. Let's see what we got here.
That's it, man.
I want to keep it rolling and see what we got, because I think that's the only way we can really know how far we could take, you know, how far we could push in the future, you know?
Yeah,
like
sure.
Something you said a long time ago. Want to have something great for a sustainable amount of time. And I agree with that.
For sure, man. And, so listen, I appreciate the call. And I'm going to get on and start talking about Mario Hezonja a little bit. Okay. Talk about some of my goals with Hezonja. All right, man?
All right, thank you, man.
I appreciate
taking my calls.
Definitely, man.
Nervous, but yeah, man, thanks for taking my call.
No doubt. I look forward to hearing from you again.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, peace. All right, so now let's talk about Mario Hezonja. I'm going to talk about Hezonja, then I'm going to open up the video chat, see what these guys talking about in here. Pretty sure they're having a spirited conversation as usual. But Mario Hezonja, and he's another guy I don't know a heck of a whole lot about. I'm looking forward to learning more about him this year. I've watched some things, you know, some videotape from him and some of that stuff. But Mario Hezonja, you know, he's a guy, he can be, you know, he can kind of be an X factor for this team. You know, if Mario Hezonja plays well and does some of the things and takes the steps that some people hope that he can take, you know, that he could be something. I mean, who knows? He could be something special for the team. You know, sometimes it takes guys a little bit longer to mature and to grow up. You know, we've all heard the stories about Mario and, you know, him being immature, maybe sometimes being kind of an asshole or something like that. But sometimes it takes a little bit of time for people to grow up and mature. And maybe he's at that point in his career where he's like, you know what, this is it. If I'm going to do it, I need to do it now. He had a good run at the end of last year, and hopefully he's able to, listen, he wanted to be in New York. He's a Knicks fan. A lot of Europeans are Knicks fans because, you know, New York is an international type of city. He wanted to play, you know, Scott Perry drafted him, obviously seen something in him. So maybe this is something that works, right? But what do I want to see? For Mario Hezonja, he's one of the guys on the team that should be versatile. We should be able to see him at the 2, the 3, and in small lineups at the 4. Which means he's going to have to defend the 2, the 3, and the 4. I'm not sure how much he plays defense. And how much of a defender he is and what he was in Orlando. I didn't get to watch all Orlando games, but I do know that he's going to have to defend those positions here in New York. So I want to see, can he defend those positions? And, you know, if I'm David Fisdale, that's what I'm telling him. We need you to defend the 2, the 3, and the 4. So be prepared. Be ready. Right? Improve his efficiency. Last season, Mario Hezonja, and he's a capable scorer. We know that. He's capable. He shot 44.2% from the field. That's not horrible. I like to see players over 45%, which means I like to see players at 46% and above. For his career, he's 41.8%. He shoots 33.7% from three, which is, it's okay. That's decent. That's what he shot. That's what he shot in 2018. For his career, he's 33%. That's not bad. I like to see him get it up to 37, 38%. You know, he averaged last year 9.6 points, 3.7 rebounds, and 1.4 assists. But I'd like to see him improve his offensive efficiency, you know, his shooting. Get it up to 46, 47% from the field, 37, 38% from three. You know, if he can do that, man, you know, the thing, who knows what he'll be able to do for this team. Also, if he's going to be able to, if he's going to defend the 2, the 3, and the 4, he's also going to have to be a versatile playmaker on offense. You know, from everything, from things that I've seen and from talking to other people and learning about him, he has the ability to be a playmaker. And I think from that, you know, if he could be a playmaker from that 2, 3, and 4 position, be a versatile playmaker that can move around between positions, he could be very, very effective for us. Very effective for us if he can be that type of a versatile playmaker for this team. And with the way that Fizdale wants to play, it's necessary that we have those versatile type of playmakers. Frank Ntilikina is going to be one of those versatile type of playmakers. Kevin Knox hopefully is a versatile type of playmaker. You know, hopefully Tim Hardaway can be a versatile type of playmaker. Trey Burke really isn't. He can be a playmaker, but he's not going to be that versatile because he can only play one position on the floor for the most part. I mean, I guess you can put him at the 2, but he's still going to be a point guard size. You know, guys that are versatile can legitimately, even with their size, go between different positions. You know, Trey Burke, I guess you can throw Trey Burke in at the 2 when it's a small lineup. You know, so he can play the 1 and the 2. But you know, yeah, Mario's going to have to be a versatile playmaker for us. You know what I mean? So we'll see if he can do it. We'll see if he can do it. But those are my goals for Mario Hezonja for this season. And again, I don't know a whole lot about the kid. I don't know a whole lot about him. But I do know these are the goals that I'd like to see from him. So let's check into the chat, see what the chat's talking about. Prince, what's popping, man? What's going on? What's going on, Prince?
KD will get them same shots wherever he go, bro. Like y'all,
Well, I guess Prince can. Hey, Prince, can you hear me? Hey, Prince, can you hear me? Hey, Prince. I don't think Prince can hear me, so I'm gonna go ahead. You know, I guess they're in there arguing about KD. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna get to the phone. You on live with nothing but Knicks. What's popping? Hello.
Hey, Rob.
What's going on, Rob? You breaking up on me, bro. I'm gonna need you to call back, Rob. You broke up on me. I'm gonna need you to call back. We got Who's Mark in the chat. All right. Hey, Mark. Now, see, Mark is arguing, so I'm going to let them guys go ahead and argue. And then we're going to get, and we'll get back to them. We'll finish talking about these goals, and then we'll get back to the video chat. All right, because them guys going for it. And we'll finish off, we'll talk about Luke Kornet. You know, because Luke Kornet, he can be someone who... Luke Kornet can be someone that's impactful for this team. He's going to be impactful for this team because of his ability to spread the floor and take the big man out the paint. You know, in order to do that, though, and let's get with these goals, he's got to earn consistent minutes. That's the one thing he's going to have to do this year. You got Enes Kanter, you got Mitchell Robinson, you got Noah Vonleh. And Luke Kornet is going to be at that. You know, all three of those guys is going to be able to go between the 3 and the 4. The 4 and the 5. Kanter is mainly going to be at the 5. Mitchell Robinson, Noah Vonleh will maybe be able to switch between the 4 and the 5. Luke Kornet is in competition with those 3 players. So the first thing he's got to do is earn consistent minutes. You know, behind those players. We'll see if he's able to do that. That's the #1 goal for him. Come into training camp and prove that he belongs on the floor. How's he do that? He's got to prove that he can defend. He's got to improve his three-point efficiency, in my opinion. He shot 33% from the 3 line last year. I would like to see him shoot better than that. Oh, I'm sorry, it was 35%. I would still like to see him shoot better than that. That's not bad, though. 35% isn't bad, and he was a rookie. He was a rookie, so, you know, but his ability to pull big men out of the paint is going to be super important for this team if we want to be able to break down and penetrate into the lane, right, and then kick it out. It's going to be important to have Luke Kornet knocking down those threes to take that big man out the paint. So we need to improve that efficiency so that when he, you know, since he's capable, we want him to make them, right? That's part of his game. We want him to make them since he's capable. That makes it even more deadly because now, you know, you have some people who can make it every once in a while, so it pulls the big man out the paint. You know, but then when it does get kicked out to them, you know, they're not really knocking it down. When you have someone that can pull them out the paint but actually knock these 3-pointers down, you know what I'm saying? That makes it deadly. So we need him to be able to knock these 3-pointers down. And then we need him to defend and rebound. You know, he's got to be a 3-and-D. I want him to be a 3-and-D center for us. Knock down the 3-point shot when it's open. Defend that center position. Hopefully he doesn't have to guard stretch fours too much because I don't think he can do it laterally. You know, I don't think he has good lateral foot speed. But defend and rebound. I don't think he'll have a problem defending some of those big guys down there. I've seen him. You know, he can build his upper body some, but, you know, he's long. He can block shots. You know, not really a weak side shot blocker, but on the ball shot blocker. You know, if he can do those things, first he's got to earn consistent minutes. In order to do that, he's got to prove that he can defend and that he can rebound. Prove that 3-point shot. And he'll get some maybe he'll get some minutes out there. Looking forward to seeing Luke Kornet play. You know, looking forward to seeing him play, see what he can do for us this year. Caller, you're on live with Nothing But Knicks. What's poppin'?
Defend and rebound. I don't think you have a problem defending.
What's going on? Hello, caller. You here?
He can build his upper body some, but, you know, he's long.
Yeah. You listening to the show. I appreciate you listening to the show, bro. You know what I'm saying? But I got to be able to get you on the line when you call in. Emmanuel C. said Luke Kornet needs to bulk up. Definitely needs to bulk up. So I'm going to come back to the video chat. See if these guys are listening and paying attention to the show as we get back to the video chat. All right, let me see. Who we got here? Mark. Mark, I'm coming to you. You guys let Mark know that I'm coming to him because Mark looks like Mark is losing it.
Yo, Sim.
Yo, what's going on, Mark? What's up, man?
Hold on, let me mute these guys because these guys are like really about to let me leave the chat because one is saying that if I was Kevin Durant, which point guard would I play with, Curry or Kyrie? And I'm looking at this guy like, bro, my guy's been on top for 4 years straight. Why would I go play with Kyrie when my guy is the top point guard in the league?
Okay.
For the last 4 years. Remember, I arrived to the finals without KD.
I'm with you. So they're arguing who would KD want to play with.
Yeah, come on, that's a dumb question. Like, people don't watch how many open shots KD get in the finals. You don't see how open he gets? Just because Curry bends the defense more than any guard I've ever seen in the last decade? Okay. 20 years?
Okay. I will say this. I agree with you, though, Mark. I don't know what they're talking about, but I do agree.
You know what this is? Because they don't watch how Curry played. He is a fascinating basketball player, off and off the ball. He does a lot of things that these guards don't do in the league. When I mean set picks, he's one of the best guard picker. He will pick you off the ball. Him relocating is one of the best I've ever seen in my life. He gets his spots anytime he wants, and then he shoots. I've seen this guy bury teams. His best year, his MVP year, that was the best in NBA history. Nobody, even LeBron, your KD, your Michael Jordan, never had a year. And if you watch that year, he completely dominated every single team that night. I watched all 82 games where if he didn't go off, that team didn't have much of a chance to win. He took them out. He shot a lot of teams out. He shot out. Another thing, he sat out 16.
Well, they talking about that. They're not on the same thing we on right now. I'm gonna let them go ahead. Caller, you on live with Nothing But Knicks. What's poppin', man? Hey, caller.
Hey, Sam.
What's going on,
How you doing,
man?
buddy?
I'm good.
Good. I have a question though.
Yeah.
Trey Burke.
If
my man can average, like, let's say 20, 21, and 12
right
this year, how that gonna affect, our decision making, like, in free agency? Whether to go after a guy like Kyrie Irving, or should we go after, like, somebody else, like some Jimmy Butler or Kawhi Leonard?
If Trey Burke can average 21 and 12,
average, like, 20, 22, and 12, and let's say with 1.5 steals a game. I know he's capable of doing that.
How does that impact our free agency?
Yes,
that's a good question. I think that I still think that the Knicks will go after Kyrie, even if Trey Burke is averaging 21 and 12. I think they would still go after Kyrie, and then because look, Kyrie, Trey Burke is on what 1.5. His deal is $1.5 million this year, I think, and it's just this year, right? So I think if Trey Burke is having that kind of a season, they still might go after Kyrie, but
let me ask you.
I still think they're gonna go after Kyrie.
Now let me ask you the same question.
Yeah.
With a slight difference. If Frank Ntilikina can average 18 and 10 this year as our point guard of the future, do we still go after Kyrie Irving?
Yeah, because I think they can play together.
You think so?
I think they can play together. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I find it hard. I don't see Frank Ntilikina averaging 18 points a game, but I think they can play together. I think if Frank Ntilikina is averaging 18 points and 10 assists a game, you gotta go and you think that he can do that consistently, then you get rid of Tim Hardaway Jr.
I watched that boy, like, during the summer. I think we're gonna have a big surprise this year.
I hope so. That's my guy, man. So
he's gonna take the league by storm this year. Like, I watched him, like, the whole summer.
Okay, we'll see what's up. Yep. I appreciate the call, and I'm gonna finish answering that question.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm gonna finish answering that question. All right. One, the thing with Trey Burke, I do not think Trey Burke is going to average 21 and 21 points and 12 assists. I think that, but I still think that they would try to go after Kyrie Irving. You know what I mean? Because that would be 1 year of Trey Burke doing that, and it doesn't mean that he's going to continue to do that. But if you don't get Kyrie Irving, then you probably go right back to Trey Burke if he does that. If Frank Ntilikina averages that, Hardaway, you got to trade him. You know what I mean? You get rid of Hardaway, you bring in Kyrie Irving, now you got Kyrie Irving and Trey Burke in your backcourt or something like that. I do not believe that. I don't know. I mean, I think Frank is definitely going to have a better season this year than he did last year. I don't know if he's going to come out and average 18 points a game. I mean, I hope so. That would be crazy. I would love it. I don't think he's going to average 18 points and 10 assists. It's still just not in his mindset right now to be that kind of a shooter, in my opinion. It's just not in his mindset yet. If Frank Ntilikina is ever going to average that much, it would be the year 4 or 5, in my opinion, when he's really, really, really been acclimated to the NBA style of play. You know what I mean? So yeah, I just don't see that with Frank Ntilikina right now. You know, for me, if Frank Ntilikina can give me 10 points, 6 assists, 12 points, 6 assists, I'll be happy. I'll be happy. I'll definitely be happy with that. You know what I mean? And look, you see these guys in the chat, man. I would love to get into the chat and try to talk to these guys, but you know, these guys they're on their own thing. Okay, so we got Payback. We got the Prince. Prince, what's cooking, man?
Man, you know the chat is on fire, going crazy. I know. This debate about Kyrie and Curry set who's marked. He went crazy. So he blew a blood vessel. He went bananas.
Yeah, I know. So let's go away from that. I mean, because we went over some goals about Mario Hezonja. We went over some goals about Luke Kornet, and I wanted to figure out what you guys thought about those.
And with that, I wanted to, like you said, and chime in on that. Excuse me, Allonzo Trier. I'm definitely, like you were saying, I want to see his defense, see how he plays against the ones and twos. Definitely, I want to see if he can really make the transition from being just that combo scoring guard to be a combo scoring point guard. Who can really facilitate and still score the ball when he needs to. And then just seeing if his basketball IQ, just seeing if he grows throughout the year and he truly progresses so that when he gets those meaningful minutes, he can, truly use them and stay out there on the floor. And Hezonja, same difference. Just seeing, like you said, I think you had said seeing him guard 2s, 3s, and 4s. 2s, 3s, and 4s, yeah. Yeah, so that definitely would be what's up to see him be able to be, like you said, that positionless basketball, even on the defensive end. Because again, if he can fill that void for us at that 4, that would definitely help us out.
Yeah, and then Luke Kornet. Where you at with Luke Kornet?
Big Luke, hey man, I would, like you said, I mean, I know we looking for bigs to, if we lose Cantor and, honestly to help out Mitch, help out Big Mitch. But I think Luke, his progression would be definitely being on the court and playing meaningful minutes and being out there and using good basketball IQ, because this will be second year in the league. So, we would like to see his basketball IQ transition on the court from last year. And he was already a smart player and a pretty good player, but I think with his conditioning and being able to be in the NBA and play against guys whose skill level is so high, I think hopefully this summer gave him the confidence that through workouts and stuff like that he'll be able to truly showcase more of his game, because we've seen he can shoot the ball, he can set good screens, he can rebound pretty good, but his cons was just his foot speed, and he was frail and stuff like that.
Yeah, and Slick, I think it was Slick Nick that was that's in the chat, said I'm looking for KP's replacement. I'm not looking for KP's replacement. I just want Luke Kornet to play well, man.
Right. Yeah, he just and that's the thing. Like I said, he's just gonna be that glue. Like to me, like how the Bulls had, that old school Bulls, like a Will Perdue type of guy who just come in and play, meaningful minutes. Give a guy a spell and get out there and really put up a couple buckets, knock down a tray or two, get a block, and just give us a shot of energy in the arm.
Yeah, for sure. Let me take this call. I'm gonna get back to the chat. When I come back to the chat, I'm gonna come to Ant, and then but let me get to this call. Call, you on live with Nothing But Knicks. What's popping?
Hey, it's Rob the Knick. I got cut off
there
short
you go.
the first time.
Yeah. The phone was I couldn't hear you. It was breaking up.
Okay, you hear me now?
I can hear you nice and clear now.
Okay, so what's the topic now? I've been on hold.
So we've been talking about just goals. I went over goals for Luke Kornet, Mario Hezonja. What we like to see from them this year. And so just talking about those goals. We're coming down to the end. You know what I'm saying? So what are you thinking? What would you like to see from those guys?
Well, first of all, I just need to make a mic check on everybody that's on the show. Can I do that?
Okay.
Okay, this is what I'm saying. This also includes you.
Uh-huh.
We are constantly talking about trusting our young.
Mm-hmm.
That our puppies run. So if we talking about our puppies, why are we always trying to add a big dog? That's been our problem as New York Knicks, the organization and everything. We not letting them grow. Because getting Kyrie, we not letting Frank grow.
I disagree with that, though. I disagree with that, getting Kyrie.
We need to trust the and I hate to say this because that's what Philly was saying, but we need to trust what we're doing. If we want Frank to be our point guard, we want Tim to be our two. If we all in agreement with that, we have to let it happen.
Well, see, that's where we're not in agreement because I do not want Tim to be my two. Right? Okay. I'm not a Tim Hardaway fan. So, see, I think I believe.
Remove him.
What'd you say?
Remove him. If you don't want him, but I know you want Frank to be your one.
But see, I buy into the whole positionless basketball thing. So I believe that Frank and Kyrie can play together, just like I think that Trey Burke and Frank Ntilikina can play together, right? So I believe that Frank and Kyrie can play together. It just so happens that the Knicks are going to have enough cap space to sign one of these players without giving up your youth. That's the reason why people are talking about it, because the Knicks will have enough cap space to sign one big guy without giving up your young guys, right? And I just believe, I mean, my focus right now is on the young guys. Until free agency hits or if they're doing something at the deadline, my focus is really just on what we're going to do in preseason, you know, how the team looks in preseason, you know, what these guys look like and all that kind of stuff. How we building chemistry, building the culture, holding guys accountable, all that kind of stuff. But I do understand that when free agency comes, you will have a chance to possibly add Kyrie Irving to Kevin Knox, Kristaps Porzingis, Frank Ntilikina.
But this is Hardaway's breakout season, and he give us 25 a game, and then Frank give us 15.
Mm-hmm.
Then what we and look at the 46% shooting that you want.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Then what you do? That's going forward. Then what you do? Will you still sign Kyrie when this man is giving you 46? And your man has stepped his game up to where he's giving you 14 and 7 assists. What do you do now? What do you look at that situation now? Do we take on all of that money just to have Kyrie? And we're not really ready for Kyrie.
You clearly would have to look at it and say, do we bring in Kyrie? But still, can you, I mean, if you're able to, listen, in my opinion, you can't have enough talent. As long, you got to have someone who can work the talent out and put people in positions. You got to have the right talent.
You can always, you can have enough talent, but we need the right talent at the right position.
You do. You're right.
You can't have 50.
Right. But let's just be honest, right? This is just me. Tim Hardaway is not gonna. I don't think that Tim Hardaway is going to be capable of shooting 46 to 47% from the field because he's just not that type of player.
I do, because he shot 45. It's more to say that he
shot 45 win.
Because he shot 45.
He shoots. Last year he shot 42% from the field, 31% from three.
The year before in Atlanta he shot 45
as a bench player.
Well, but he still gave you 12 a game. So you take that mindset without Melo there, and then I think that his leg got hurt the year before. His leg got hurt. So therefore, he was having a stellar season before his leg got hurt.
Actually, he wasn't. He started off the season terrible. He had a little stretch, but he wasn't playing that great. He started off the season terrible. He started off the season really bad.
But he just finished shooting 45 the year before.
Yeah, as a person, as a role player that didn't have the same type of responsibility, and didn't take the same amount of shots. You know what I mean? And
I agree with that.
You know,
but that's not to say that he can't do it.
I mean, maybe Fizdale can listen for his career. For his career, he shoots 42.5%. That's his career, his entire career. That's what he shoots.
We talking about 4 years. It's 3 years to get acclimated to the game.
That's true. That's true. He had 1 year of shooting 45%. Then he went right back down to shooting 42%. When he shot the most field goals, you know, the year that he shot 45%, he averaged 11 field goal attempts per game.
Right? And you are last
year he shot 15 field goal percent. He had 15 field goal attempts per game.
Was over there drafted what? The 5th pick. He was doing real good in Utah until his attitude messed him up. And then now he's right back dedicated to the game. I think that he's going to have to steal the season if anybody need to say anything.
I mean, you know, I would give Trey Burke a better chance of shooting 40. I mean, Trey Burke already shot 50% from the field last year. You know what I mean?
But everybody
I just don't think Tim Hardaway's going to do it. I don't think he's that type of player.
Well, I think, like, without the pressure and him coming in and him thinking that he's the leader of the team, look who his dad is. Give him some DNA on that.
His dad don't mean a damn thing when it comes to him playing in the NBA right now. I mean, look at Michael Jordan's kids. Not one of Michael Jordan's kids made it to the NBA. Look at who their dad is.
Well, but look, he's in the NBA, and he was in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, he was. Listen, I hope that Tim Hardaway can. I'm not saying I don't want him to, because I just, you know.
I know, because he's a fan like me.
You know what I'm saying? I want Tim Hardaway to do well.
Don't look at him like he can't do it.
Okay. I hope that he does. We're going to find out. We're going to find out real soon. I hope that he does. Listen, I think he's a hard worker. I think when he came in the league, he didn't work as hard as maybe he was supposed to work, and he fell off, and maybe it had to do with the whole culture of the Knicks, that the Knicks just didn't have that kind of culture. You know what I'm saying? So he went to Atlanta. He went down to the G League, but they had a different kind of a culture. He got on point, and I think he really is a hard worker. I don't think he has the mental part of the game. That's me. I don't think he has the mental part of the game or the emotional part. You know what I mean?
If he did it in Atlanta, he can do it in New York.
Yeah, but it's just so different, because in Atlanta you had Paul Millsap and you had a couple other guys that were the options before him. You know what I'm saying? So he didn't have the same kind of responsibility or pressure.
He got KP.
But KP's not playing this year.
Well, it doesn't. That's why you step up.
But that's my thing. I'm not sure if he can.
Behind Melo, but he can step up behind KP.
I just don't think that he's the type of guy to step up and be your leader, man. I think that Tim Hardaway is best suited as a six man.
Frank is going to be there. Frank is going to be there, but he's not ready. The only one that's really ready to take him somewhere is going to be Tim. And I'm not a big fan. Don't get it twisted. I think that, look, if he can't do it this year, he's out the league.
Who, Tim?
That's all I say.
Out the league?
Yes.
Tim out the league? Now, see, I wouldn't go that far to say if he can't do it, he's out the league. I think he'll find a spot anywhere.
He will be the seventh man on the rotation after he can't do it this year, because all eyes on him.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe, but I see Tim Hardaway having a pretty long career.
I won't say that he's out the league, that he's gone, but you 7 man, 8, okay. Your sneakers ain't even getting dirty no more. You know, but this is his year. He went from, he scored 18. I think he can get me 3 more points a game and take that average up a little bit.
Well, we'll see. I just hope he does it on. I think he can. I just want him to do it on efficient shooting. I don't want him to do it shooting 42%.
The shooting, I'm with you with that. I think he can take it up to 45. Melo whole career was 45. Look, your man Westbrook, his whole career was 41, but he gave you assists and rebounds for 41% shooting.
I'm not that big of a Westbrook. I'm not that big of a Westbrook fan. You know what I mean?
This man got a triple-double, won the MVP, 41% shooting on the field.
But I'm not that big. I'm not really that big of a Westbrook fan though. So, I'm not that big of a Westbrook fan.
Yeah, me neither. But I think that Tim can bring it up. Give him a chance.
All right. I mean, we don't have no choice but to give him a chance. But we don't have no choice but to give that man a chance.
Because if he can't do it this year, seventh man, you're not what your dad thought you was going to be, and Trey Burke is going to blow past you. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
That's all. Okay. Trey Burke will, with the hard work, Trey will shoot. Look, I will guarantee, and I was telling my son just like this here, Trey Burke will shoot 47% and over on the field this year.
He might.
He will do that.
He might. Hey man, I appreciate the call, Robert. I'm gonna let you go. I know I got some other people that want to call in, and you just said some things that lit it up a little bit. So I'm pretty sure some people don't want to jump into this, man.
From North Carolina, by way of New York, you got to put that in there.
Say that again.
Rob the Knick, by way of North Carolina, but I'm originally from Harlem.
All right, that's what's up, man. Big shout out. All right. Harlem World in the house.
All right.
All right. Peace, man. Harlem World in the house. I still don't think Hardaway could be that guy. I just don't think. I mean, I just think that Hardaway is best suited as a sixth man in the league. You know what I mean? That's what I see Hardaway as. So, it is. Listen, I'm hoping for the best for the man, though. I really am. I want Hardaway to do well, because if the Hardaway does well, that's better for the Knicks, right? Better for the Knicks. Coming down to the end of the show, I'm going to take one more call. You're on Live with Nothing But Knicks. What's popping, man?
What's going on, Simeon?
What's going on with you?
Not much. It's Ryan from the Bronx.
What's up, Ryan?
Chilling, man. Oh, my God. I had to call, man, because I was just listening to that stuff that last caller was saying. And did you get that caller's name by any chance?
Rob the Knick. That's what he said. Rob the Knick.
You sure that wasn't Tim Hardaway Sr.? Emmanuel Mudiay?
Tim Hardaway Sr. I don't know. Maybe it was.
Jesus Christ. Here's my thing. I have a lot to say. I know you're getting ready to shut down this show, but God, that guy. Tim Hardaway, it's like you said, Tim Hardaway is at best at seventh man. He had, in Atlanta, he had Millsap. He had Ken Bazemore was even a better option than he was. You can't sit there. Last year he had an opportunity to be the main guy. He got hurt. Sometimes it's part of life. Sometimes you don't get second chances. And the crazy thing is he's going to get a second chance this year, because we're not expecting Knox to sit there and lead us. He's a rookie. And if he does, then okay, I'm fine with that. But I'm not expecting him to. He's going to get a second chance. Mudiay has to go, okay? I agree with you with all the stuff, all those players that you put up, Hezonja, their goals, Kornet, and I believe Allonzo Trier. I think Hezonja has a lot, could actually be very good for us. I think he's a poor man's Klay Thompson. He can't shoot as good as him, but he's very good off the ball, and he kind of could create a little better than Klay Thompson, but obviously not the great shooter that he is. So that's something that we're going to have to pay attention to going down the line, because he might be helpful for us. Now, as far as championship teams and free agents and stuff like that, you need a balance. You either need, maybe half and half, where half your players are drafted and half your other players are free agents to be a championship contender. Now, here's the thing, though. Teams like, if you look at the Lakers, let's say, when they had a dynasty in the early 90s, a lot of those guys were free agents. They drafted Kobe, but they brought in Shaq.
True.
To build dynasties, you have to do that. You have to bring guys from the outside. You can draft and be a championship contender, but if you look at the Bulls in the 90s, they were championship contenders until they got, they were championship contenders when they got Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant started to develop. But then once we got Rodman on that second run, we had the 3 best defenders in the league.
Mm-hmm.
You need to sign a dominant guy, either offensively or defensively, to be a dynasty, to become a dynasty, or else you're just gonna become a championship caliber team, and like Utah. But how good is a championship team when you a contender when you have a dynasty like the Bulls? It's no different with the Lakers. They had Magic, they drafted Worthy, they got Kareem, they even got Will Chamberlain down the line. It's no different than Miami Heat. The Bulls had a championship contender. They drafted Butler, Rose, Noah. They drafted Taj Gibson. These guys were all drafted them. But it took a dynasty like Miami to take them down. Nowadays, look, and Golden State's a perfect example. They had those 3 guys, but they needed KD to build a dynasty. How good is Houston when you have a dynasty now? Right now, you need the Knicks, and I'm glad that, Mills is paying attention to what the league is doing. You need to draft smart. The Lakers were the Lakers because of Jerry West in the 90s. The Warriors are the Warriors because of Jerry West, too. He had a huge input. He's a main reason why Warriors are the Warriors today. Mills, I'm glad he's paying attention. And I also, I'm just glad because we don't need 2 guys. We have enough. It's like you said, Sam. We can sign 1 max free agent. Okay, we have enough talent on our team. It's all about patience and grooming them. It's going to be hard. We might not win 30 games. I wouldn't be surprised if we do, but if we don't, there's going to be growing pains. Golden State was bad. Even with those 3 guys, they were bad until Iguodala came, and then Steve Kerr just took them to a whole nother level.
Well, Mark Jackson has his fingerprints in there though. They won like 50 games or something, 54 games or something like that before Steve Kerr came. But I know what you mean. I'm with you.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you, but I don't know. He did make them better. But as far as maxing out the potential, Steve Kerr came in. He did that. I wish it was Mark Jackson. I really do. I like him. I do like him as a coach. I think he's a player's coach. But you got to give credit where credit is due.
Yeah, I agree with you. He took him to another level. Like Mark Jackson gave him some discipline, and then Steve Kerr maybe loosened it up a little bit, but they still had some of that discipline, and then opened up the offense, and took him to another level. Hey man, I'm about to head off, so I appreciate your call, staying up, rocking with us tonight on a late night.
And you have a good night. Have a good weekend, my brother. Appreciate you taking my call.
Have a good week. Appreciate it. Peace.
Thanks.
All right, that's the last call of the night, folks. But we're not done yet. A little bit more to talk about, and we finished off the Seatgeek Season Goals. Even though we didn't get a chance to say we finished it off, we finished it off. So just as a reminder, go to SeatGeek.com, use the code NBK, and you get $20 off of your first purchase. SeatGeek.com, use the code NBK and get $20 off of your first purchase. NBK Fantasy League. We got our first draft coming up this Wednesday at 9 p.m. And we're going to broadcast the draft live. So, fellas, people that's in the draft, we can only fit 12 people in our in the video chat. So if you want to get into the video chat, you better get in early. If you are in this draft And only people that's in the draft is going to be in the video chat. So if you're not in this draft, sorry guys, I'm not going to let you into the video chat. All right. And, you know, of course, we'll be talking Knicks, of course. But the main purpose is going to be the draft. All right. And so who do we have in the draft? We got the Monstars by Nick. We got Brian's Best Team by Brian. We got Tech Jones Teams by Brian. Hopefully that's not the same Brian. We got New York Nightmares. We got Felix's Team by Felix. We got Martin's Team by Martin. I'm not sure, but this third one is Shinji Dual by Tony. We got Mr. Mendoza's Team by Martin Mendoza. We got the Unicorn Nets by Eddie. We got New York Insanity by Joker. We got Xavier's Dynasty by John. We got Chris's Team by Chris. Hard Knocks Life by McGee. The Entertainer, Mr. Entertainer. We got Neilmatic by Joshua. Sporty KP by Kyle. Justice Team by Justin. Clarence's Team by Clarence. Payback Carter by Jeremy. And, of course, my team is in the mix. All right, so we got 20 people in the draft. And it's going to be a fun draft. That's Wednesday night at 9 p.m. We'll probably start streaming maybe like 8:45 or something like that as we get ready for the draft. But make sure you join us. Check us out. It's not just going to be the draft. We're also going to be talking Knicks, of course. So we'll be switching back and forth so you can see the draft. You can see the chat, and we'll just be talking, having a good time. So make sure you join us to check out the NBK Fantasy League. And we got a few more after this. We got 4 different fantasy leagues, and we'll be doing the drafts all on Wednesdays. So it's going to be crazy. It's going to be fun. Yes, there's 20 teams. So guys, get your GM hats out. Start doing your studying. All right, study. But of course, we're going to be talking Knicks too. You know what I mean? It's not just going to be a draft. We're going to have a good time talking Knicks. You know, we'll figure out a couple of topics to talk while we're drafting. So it should be fun, and we should have a good time. You know what I mean? So I look forward to really looking forward to the draft. Excuse me, really looking forward to the draft, and we got a couple more drafts coming up as well. We got like 3 of them coming up. All right, so let me get to last words. We about to knock out these last words. So you guys in the chat, hopefully you guys are ready. We're gonna knock out these last words. I'm coming to you guys. I'm coming to you. All right, you guys ready? I don't think they can hear me. The only person that ever pays attention is Aunt G. So I'm going to go to Aunt. All right. Aunt is the only person that ever pays attention. Aunt, what's poppin',
up,
man? What's going on,
what's
man?
Up?
Trying to get his last words in.
Oh, word. Before this show was quick, man. It was late, but it felt like it went by quick.
Yeah, I know, man. We've been on for almost 2 hours already.
I know. I don't have to do too much for Donkey of the Night. I mean, I think the chat kind of awarded Mr. Rob the Knicks. It was going so well until he said that, man.
Yeah.
I think people say things for shock value, son.
Think so? Sometimes they do, maybe.
Cause that was crazy. But I was telling the Prince, I don't think Luke Kornet needs any goals. I think his goal should be not to drop the water, to be a good spotter in the weight room, and and make sure the towels are ready for every time out.
Oh, it's like that.
I think, so I think that should be Luke Kornet
can give us anything.
Nah.
Okay, we'll see.
I'm not a believer.
All right, that's what's up. Well, I mean, I think he can give us something. We'll see. He's got some competition at that 4 and 5 spot, though. It's gonna be tough.
He's tall.
I mean, he's going against Noah Vonleh, Mitchell Robinson, and there's Cantor. You know, so it's gonna be tough for him to crack that, I think. So we'll see what's up.
Yeah, I like him. Good guy. Seems like a good guy. I'll let him watch my kids, but
okay. All right.
I don't know if I want him on my team though.
All right, Ant, man. I'll talk to you later, man.
I bet.
All right, peace. And let me see who we got up here. Ron, what's going on, Ron? What's up, man?
Man. Sam, hey, you talk about goals for Luke Kornet?
Uh-huh.
His goal gonna be to get on the first thing smoking the LaGuardia with Moutier.
A lot of hate for that guy, man.
Thing smoking.
A lot of
somebody.
hate for that guy.
Everybody can't play, man. Somebody got to go.
That's true.
Somebody got to go.
I know.
And Luke ain't showing me much, man. I mean, he was decent, but somebody got to go, and I'd rather see him and Moutier go, man.
All right.
And Baker can go too. Get Baker up out of there. Every time I look at Baker, I see Jeff Hornacek. He need to go. He needs to go.
You know, I mean, he's in the last year of his contract, so you know, if he's not trade filler at the deadline, then yeah, he's probably gone.
Yeah, he's gone. He's gone, and Noah should have been gone 20 years ago.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, I read the report the other day that said, you know, the Knicks, you know, they were trying to find a trade partner or whatever it is.
Ain't nobody trading for that dude, man.
You know, ain't nobody trading. Yeah, ain't nobody trading for him.
He up there taking his clothes off in the middle of the street. Ain't nobody trading for that.
Yeah.
He worse than J.R. Smith tying up people's shoes at the free throw line.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens with him, man. Hey,
Sim, man. Hey, Sim.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to let you know, man. Hey, my son had 2 more NFL teams looking at him, man.
Oh, yeah? Okay. That's what's up.
Yeah, the Eagles and the Redskins came to his practice. So now he got 6 teams.
Okay. That's what's up, man. Wow. Yep. Nice. So, okay, so...
But, man, hey, I did want to ask you something, Sim, with this I like the new logo, man. I need one of them shirts for the season, man.
Yeah, as a matter of fact... Yeah, definitely. As a matter of fact, I have a site where you can purchase them from.
Okay.
You know, it's like $17 or something like that. Okay. I'll put the link up in the next stream.
All right. I appreciate that.
I'll put the link up in the next stream.
Support that.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm about to get some bucket hats made and everything. I'm about to do it big out here.
Hey, Mark.
Do it big.
Hey, don't go too hard tonight, man. Hey.
Yeah. All right, man. I'm gonna let you go.
All right, man.
I appreciate it. Peace.
Later.
All right, Prince.
Hey, man. You know, Sim, hey, my bad. We wasn't paying attention a little earlier too. That's when you was coming into the chat, happens, man. You know, it was bananas in here. Fireworks, you know, napalm grenades going off. It was everything going on tonight.
Yeah. So what's your last words, man? What's your last words?
Last words, man. It's like you were saying a couple chats ago, man. I'm ready to see some different color jerseys, man. I'm ready for training camp to start. Yeah. I'm tired of us, speaking things into existence. Yeah. I'm just ready for some of this stuff to start, coming into fruition, and we really start playing some Knick basketball, so we can stop guessing and we start seeing exactly what type of product we got out here on the court.
Yeah, and really start breaking things down from there. I can't wait, man. We got like another week until training camp starts. We got 2 weeks until we see the first game. So
man, that's crazy. But like I was saying, one quick thing before I get out of here, but I was talking to Aunt G about was saying that I'm looking forward. It's funny because I'm looking forward to the Westchester Knicks. I want to see they like JV. They like our JV squad. So I'm looking forward to seeing,
I'm trying to get up to a couple of their games too, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna check out the Grand Rapids. Like I said, I'm Kalamazoo is like 45 minutes away from Grand Rapids. Okay. So I'm gonna check out the Grand Rapids. I forget what they call them. The Detroit's G League team. So I'm gonna when the Westchester come here, I'm gonna go see them too. Okay. So I'm gonna definitely check them out too.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I'm gonna be following them too. And a lot of times their games are broadcast live on Facebook or something like that. So.
Oh, that's sweet. I didn't know that. Did not know that.
Yeah. Matter of fact, if you check out their website. I think if you go to the Knicks website, you can link to the Westchester Knicks website, and then they'll the schedule is up, everything. So yeah.
Okay, I'm about to check that out. I'm definitely check that out. Hey, what's up, man? Keep doing your thing. Let's keep these big sponsorships coming next. Can't wait for Subway. You know what I'm saying? The Subway section, McDonald's,
all that.
Jumpman, everybody, all that.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man.
Hey, man, shout out to chat, Sil.
Have a good week, man. Peace.
Peace, God.
And of course, who's Mark? It's on you. Sitting in the dark, can't nobody see him.
Yo, Sim, let me ask you a question.
All right.
Why nobody talking about Lance Thomas?
We're gonna talk about Lance Thomas. We're gonna get to Lance Thomas. We're gonna do his goals. We just.
But what's wrong with Kornet? Because he rim runs, he spaced the floor, he shoots threes, and grab rebounds. What's wrong with him?
Some people don't like Kornet. I don't know. I think Kornet can be useful for the team.
I think he's more useful than freaking than Ron Baker and Moutier.
I mean, I think Kornet can be real useful. You know, if he can find a way to crack the rotation, which
and you know what's so crazy?
We'll see, but
he can still be useful for us because we're not going to sign Kanter unless he takes a crazy dip in his contract next year.
Right. Exactly. You know what I mean? So we'll see what's up. I think Luke Kornet. I think he's on 1 year deal again, so that they're trying him out. But I think Luke Kornet could help us.
All I want him to do is just hustle, stretch, and shoot. When he gets the ball, just let it fly.
That's it. That's all.
And let me ask you a question. I was having this thing. I was thinking about it today. Would you trade Tim Hardaway and a 2020 first round for Jimmy Butler right now?
In the 2021?
2020 or 2021 first round pick. One of them.
I might. Right now, I might.
Because you know what I was thinking? Because Jimmy come off the books, right? And then the fact that we have Tim Hardaway for the next 2 years, which we don't want him at that cap, because I think he has a 15% trade kicker in the last year, I believe. So why wouldn't you trade for Jimmy? You bring Jimmy in, he'll be part of the defensive culture that we're trying to show in NBA, and we don't have to. We can let him walk next year, and then we'll be off the books, off of Tim Hardaway books.
I mean, you would, but if you don't want to let him walk, then you're gonna have to pay him some serious money. But then you let him walk. If you do, I think if you're doing it, if you're giving up a 2020, if I'm giving up a 2020 draft pick, it's gonna be somebody that I'm saying, okay, I might want to commit to this guy.
Yeah, because no. You know what I was thinking? I was thinking like this. Supposedly next year, right? We got Kyrie in free agency next year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then for 2020, because we're waiving Noah, I don't want to waive this guy, Jesus Christ, but we are. We will have that extra money that Tim Hardaway was going to take up to get to a next free agent, which everybody think Kevin Durant is going to come in 2020.
I mean, that's true. You would have that money, right? You would, or you would have the ability, so you would, you'd at least have the flexibility to be able to either re-sign Jimmy Butler or sign somebody else. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I would do it.
Why is everybody so afraid of Jimmy Butler like he wouldn't bring a culture to us? That's the type of dude you want to play in New York. People got to understand something. Not everyone can come and play here. I don't trust everyone that can come and play here. There's very few.
I mean, it's true. It's true. I'm pretty sure I would do it because I think Jimmy Butler is that much of a better player than Tim Hardaway Jr.
Because 2020 pick, it won't mean anything if we're in free agency.
I mean, it shouldn't mean anything if we are a good team by 2020. You know, it shouldn't mean anything. Well, late round.
So we stop going for proven players now instead of like worried about if this player becomes this player.
Well, and that's the thing I was trying to get across, man. You can't just cross out free agency because the trend where everyone is saying is the draft. Of course, you want to do the draft, but how many years are you just going to be relying on the draft? That means you're going to suck.
Bro, if people keep bringing up Golden State and OKC, those are an anomaly. Those are an anomaly. And with Golden State, they brought in Iguodala, and that helped their team defensively by far. When Iguodala got signed in, their defense went up.
Mm-hmm. So
Iguodala was a big-time player leaving from Denver. Go watch him in Denver. He was the main reason why they was a 52-win team. He's that impactful. You have to bring in free agents so these young guys can see what they do on the court so they can get better. How you think Jason Tatum got better? Because he saw Kyrie and what he did before he got hurt.
Right, that's true. And if
that's how young players develop.
You look at the Celtics got Kyrie, they got Gordon Hayward, they got their young players, but they got their own players, but they also got free agents. You got to mix it. I think you got to mix it. That's how you.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. But I'm saying if we get rid of Hardaway and do that, I'm doing that fast, please. Please.
I mean, me and Hardaway, I don't rock with Hardaway like that.
You put Butler with Fitz and with the defense that he wants to implement. Oh, come on! Look what anywhere Jimmy Butler goes, their defense is damn near a top 15 defense, and he goes to win. Tim Hardaway can't guard the wing, bro.
Yeah, that's true. He can't.
So we gonna lose and die by threes again this year, like we do almost every year. Yo, y'all gotta get together at Knicks fan, man. Seriously.
All right, Mark, man. I'm out, man.
I holla back. Yo,
right,
chat,
Mark.
holla back, man.
Peace. I don't even know if they can see you, Mark, but peace, man.
Nah, I mean, it's that nice. Like, why am I have light on, man? Too hot for that.
So people can see you, but all right. Good old Mark, man. Good old Mark. That's Mark for you. But anyway, I'm glad you guys joined me tonight. You know what I'm saying? The Giants disappointed us, but I'm glad you guys jumped on. You joined me. We had a good show, and I hope you have a great, great, great week. Have a very good week, and I'll see you Tuesday night. Peace.